top of the line, I give it the news, there's nothing less. The way I deliver the facts, try to do it the best, man, it's button check. Gotta subscribe and telling you that it's button check. You not tuning to button check.
What is up, Button Check family? Welcome back to yet again a beautiful day of buttons that need to be checked. It is Saturday, the weekend is here, we done made it. Sorry that I actually missed yesterday. I was trying to post, but I got caught up with life and stuff I had to do. So I'm gonna post today, obviously, and I'm gonna post early tomorrow because tomorrow is Super Bowl Sunday, so I'm not trying to get in the way of the Super Bowl. So expect the button check really early tomorrow. And also on the second channel, I just posted a video titled, I found a phone and ruined a woman's marriage by unlocking it. 100% true. It already sounds crazy, but it's on the second channel and there was some wild stuff. It was some cheating, some freaky deaky stuff. Listen, it's true on the second channel if you want to get down with that. I'm actually posting another video on the second channel. This one's actually more FGC related. That was gonna go up Sunday morning sometime. So either way, we got a lot of content. I'm talking too much. Let's check these buttons. Let's go. All right, first up for the confused Tekken community, somehow taking shots at Harada. You heard right. Harada buttons that need to be checked. So it's kind of a strange story. I just saw it yesterday. Let's unpack this damn thing. So you already know Harada has departed from Bandai, the whole Tekken scene, talking about retirement. We didn't know what was in the cards for Harada-san. What's he gonna do? Is he gonna ride into the sunset? Is he gonna go to another company? Apparently we now have an answer, kinda. Because there was another company, I guess some more devs out there, actually put a post for a job opening. Harada responded. Now, the FGC also responded, but some of them actually got pissed off. So check this out. Right here, No Context Tekken said, Harada appears to be interested in working at, I don't know, is it something engine? Is it Darkiest engine? I'm butchering it, but look, they're responsible for the netcode of Tekken 8, Dragon Ball, The Breakers, and more. Harada still seems interested in fighting games as a whole, including the one he left. He just wanted out from under Namco's boot. Damn, how y'all feeling about that? So here's the post right here. You see CEO, founder, we're hiring, please have a look, let us know. Now hiring server-side engineer. You just see a couple of comments. Now, if we scroll down, Harada right there, I'll join. Right there, I'll join. They respond saying, we would be honored to have you join us. There you have it. Now, when I first saw it myself, I didn't know if he was serious or not, or just kind of playing with them. You got some FGC responding to that. No Context again saying, hopefully if Harada makes it to the team, he can convince them to get this generated slop off their website. See, you see this here, but underneath that, somebody goes deeper saying he literally expressed that he wanted to experiment with other parts of the industry that left him or that let him learn new things while not having the pressure of an executive producer. I'm still surprised he chose the netcode over art design or musical composition. Underneath that, they say, yeah, this post was more directed towards those who believe Harada just dumped and abandoned Tekken when it was in a bad state. Basically, doomers using his own or their own interpretation of Harada's career decision as fuel to validate themselves. Underneath that, they continue in saying, oh yeah, I dislike that position. Harada has kidney problems, as seen in a colleague that has a similar position left this world. He is already planning to leave all the stuff to Nakatsu since T7, and most recent characters and mechanics are Nakatsu's idea. And the don't ask me for shit makes a lot more sense when you consider that maybe Harada was using it as a hint that you have to talk to Nakatsu and not him. Others respond saying, I don't think he was being serious, not gonna lie, but why? That's the real question. I mean, when one retires, they wanna enjoy life and live, but when you go looking for other jobs, that could mean that they were pushing off the project or that they were tired of the project. How you feeling about that? Going back to that other statement where they're like, you know, the doomers are using it, because I actually saw those comments too, where people are like, why would Harada leave now? He just waited for it to get in a bad state. Like, that's some bullshit. How is he just gonna leave us like this? That's not like somebody owning the scene or owning, that's not a dev owning up to the mistakes. why would he just abandon ship and go to some other places if he's not truly going to retire? But they're like, that's not the case at all. But I do see Michael Murray posting this as of yesterday saying, I made a Master Cup team with Harada to get him to show up at another Tekken event. So that's what's up. Maybe they're trying to kind of pull him back in, so we'll see what happens. I even saw Moonsault Slayer with an interesting perspective. He posted a video about this, I think just yesterday, link down below, but check out the clip.
We all know Harada retired. He's no longer with the company. He stopped on December. And then at the Tekken World Tour Finals, he made his final appearance. Tell me why a couple of days after that, Harada was on LinkedIn once again. And this time he was responding to a job offering. This company says, we are hiring. Please have a look and let us know if you're interested. Now, this position is for a server-side engineer, very different from the job that Harada previously had. But you can see Harada here is in the comment section where he says, I'll join. The founder and CEO responds and says, Harada, we will be honored to have you. Over the past month or so, Harada has just been toying with the idea of going to another company. And as Tekken fans, they interpret that as Tekken 8 being so bad that he's jumping ship. I was doing a little bit more research and I think maybe he could have left because he's tired dealing with Bandai Namco executives. It's really just all speculation, but we'll know for certain what the answer is if he does become an employee of another game company. Speaking of gaming companies, many Japanese gaming companies' stocks took a big hit in the Japanese stock market today. You have about 10 major companies listed. Bandai Namco is one of them at a negative 3.4%. I don't know what triggered this, but you know how the companies operate. When they lose money, they try to gain it back through monetization.
So there it is in a nutshell. How y'all feeling? If I had a guess, I don't know if I really believe that he was being serious, but maybe he is. I don't know where his mind's at right now. I think that whole, his colleague passing away soon really affected him, and he was like, yo, maybe it's time I live some life. Now, if he does happen to pop up at another company, then I could see where people's minds are going to start connecting weird dots, and they're going to be like, oh, so maybe you did want to abandon ship over here because it just wasn't about retirement. You just wanted a different atmosphere. And I could totally see some people, I'm not going to say the whole Tekken community or FGC or anything like that, but we already know there's probably going to be some to kind of be upset in a way, to be like, how could you leave us just to go somewhere else? I don't know, that's a long shot. I don't see anything like that. At least I hope nothing like that happens, but I can see some more shit starting if he just randomly pops up somewhere else. Even in some of the comments below that video, they were saying, Harada finna be there for VF6, and to be honest, I'll probably be joining him. And then you could tell Harada really wanted out of there, from saying he wanted to EWGF some of the suits to putting a T7 banner on his Twitter/X profile 2 years in the T8 life cycle. And there you have it. All right, next up for Nintendo had one of the biggest fumbles, and the Smash community is calling them on it, but others is calling bullshit buttons that need to be checked. So Stealth posted this, when was this, man? Just a couple of days ago, saying Super Smash Bros. Ultimate sold over 500K units last quarter. Still selling the damn game. We're talking about 500K units just last quarter, and this is without any major updates. So you see down below. But if we just scroll a little up right here, we see Hungry Box talking about the game is selling 36 million copies was a huge accomplishment, or this game selling 36 million was a huge accomplishment, but Nintendo, not realizing they could have cornered the entire esports industry with a flick of their wrist overnight, was a multiverses level fumble. Continuing on, he says, also to answer a lot of the replies, number one, Nintendo selling skins of characters in Smash 4 would have generated unironically billions for the company and provided an insanely profitable new business model that could have tied into competitive events and maybe changed how they approach esports. Number two, the Smash community's myriad of controversies most certainly impacted their desire to hold that role, but I do feel it's a bad faith argument and not also realize that bad eggs exist nearly in every large-scale competitive scene for so many games. Each governing body of these scenes handles their issue in their own ways. It just makes me wonder why Nintendo couldn't also do what Capcom, Riot, ArcSys, Epic Games, etc. does. Maybe I'm just venting in the wind here, but I do wonder where the disconnect really lies compared to other large-scale game developers and how they handle things. Then, of course, that FGC is reacting right here saying, honestly, I feel like the sales just furthers the fact that they don't need to involve themselves with the competitive community even more so. He responds saying, League of Legends has been downloaded over 100 million times and generated over 15 billion in microtransactions, so you could ask similarly why Riot continues to bolster the pro scene in the way it does. Then you got some on that other side of the fence though, talking about it's hard to believe that you're naive enough to still be blaming Nintendo in 2026. Community leaders provided to be or proved to be incompetent after the Smash World Tour / Panda Cup fiasco. They had Nintendo support in the palm of their hands. It also doesn't help that the Smash community is now viewed as a local community by anybody outside looking in due to the non-stop scandals that seem to occur almost on a weekly basis. The post-COVID Smash community is now known for being one of the most toxic communities in gaming by outsiders and sponsors. The constant bullying, Discord gossip, push for social justice, and addiction to mob, the outrage culture has completely ruined what was once a welcoming and thriving community. Nintendo doesn't owe the Smash community anything. Then you got, yes, HBox, I'm sure the marketing and analyst professionals at Nintendo have never thought about doing this. I think they just don't want to work with a swath of pedophiles, and with all due respect, they dodged the bullet because the amount of scandals in this scene goes through what would be catastrophic. They're not touching it without having complete control and implementing age divisions and extensive background checks. Beneath that, Nintendo would rather protect their IP than let Melee players plug in a functioning controller. And what esports industry in 2026? Esports is ads to sell skins now. And ain't no way selling 36 million is a fumble. Going esports / the competitive scene is what killed Multiverses and Nickelodeon All-Stars, and esports is a loss of money for companies in general. And there's so much degens on the field, so much bad publicity for a family-oriented company, and I don't see how esports is extremely volatile and could be costly. Many games, some arguably bigger, couldn't keep up with theirs. What exactly would be the ROI for one? Marketing, clearly not worth it as the game sells on its own. Esports is not needed. Then wrapping it up right here saying, did we forget that nearly the entire community actively engaged in sabotaging / boycotting the official Nintendo circuit? Nintendo is a business. Imagine your incredibly niche market just straight up denied your presence when you actually did try to fund it, LOL. Like, what are we talking about and not realizing? Esports also makes no money. Practically, this just makes no sense. But then you got Nintendo refused to communicate with TOs who applied for official licenses, then cease and desisted their tournaments after tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars were already invested in those events. How is this anybody's fault but Nintendo's? That one has over 300 likes. And yeah, it was boycotted because it was by Nintendo and no other reason. I definitely am addressing the original post and not being disingenuous whatsoever. And there you have it, how we feeling Nintendo with the all-time, we're talking about Multiverses level fumble. But other people saying, no. Like, they've done sold so much money, they still making money by doing nothing, not even touching the community, possibly protecting their IP. But I think where Hungrybox is trying to come from is like, look, you could do more. If you did more, this community is so big. We all know that Smash, that community always had the damn numbers. It's crazy how big. I was always impressed by how big that community was and how much support, you know, how much they, I guess, provided for each other. So I do respect them in that sense. So honestly, I think he's coming, or at least trying to, a good place and being like, more can be done. There's so much numbers here. If Nintendo really wanted to, there could be more money generated. But I guess the community is now saying, well, if we're talking esports though, like in this day and age, not really. Because if there's so many other places that are just like literally just burning money, SNK kind of comes to mind because look how much money they're throwing at this game. Crazy amounts of money, and there's literally no numbers there. There is no ROI, like there is nothing. They just got money to burn, so they're able to get away with it. And obviously I don't think Nintendo's trying to get a piece of that or follow that same business plan, right? So I can see where each side is coming from, and the other side is like, yo, esports is really not all that. But I could also see, like I was saying, how Hungry is like, there could just be so many more opportunities for the community and for Nintendo if we could somehow get along. And then it goes deeper from people firing shots, well, Nintendo's fault because they did us wrong, and others like, no, we did ourselves wrong, or y'all did yourselves because of the pedos and all this other stuff, and you know, shit. But at the end of the day, is this a fumble? And could Nintendo actually just elevate the game and do even more if they could somehow find a middle ground with the community? How y'all feeling? Let me know. There it is one more time, Butt Check family. Appreciate the mad love. One more time, I did post a brand new video on the second channel. That link is down below. I'm aiming to post another video on the second channel early tomorrow morning. So early tomorrow morning, you can expect a button check and another video on the second channel. So hope to see you guys there. And as always, I don't know what it is, but I know somehow, some way, it's about to get better. Love y'all forever. Peace.
Blah, blah, blah. Subscribe.
Why does that combo do so, my dog? Ryan Hart, you know you getting something swaggy with this fella. Nah, you could do that? What? You could get that many juggles, bro? I feel like he was juggling forever. Bro, honestly, how do you figure this stuff out? How do you figure that out? What type of dark arts are you subscribed to figure that out?